A kingdom is not truly built by its kings. Kings are fleeting. They bleed, they fall, and they are forgotten. No, a kingdom is built by the monuments that outlive them, the silent fortresses that hold the line, the towering walls that shield the living, the grand libraries that whisper the secrets of 1,000 forgotten winters, and the ancient stones blackened by the scorching breath of dragons. If you've ever watched Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, a single question has likely lingered in the quiet corners of your mind. Could a world like this ever truly exist? It feels real because George R. R. Martin did not just write characters, he built a living, breathing history. Every castle, every city, every stone wall has a heartbeat. They tell stories of their own. Today, we take a slow journey through the annals of Westeros to uncover its 5 greatest wonders: the Citadel, the Red Keep, the Wall, Driftmark, and Dragonstone. Once you understand the blood, the politics, and the ancient secrets buried beneath their foundations, you will never look at these shores the same way again. Let us begin our journey where all dark secrets go to be written down, in the House of Wisdom. In the shifting, brutal politics of Westeros, there is a weapon far more lethal than a Valyrian steel blade: knowledge. And the living heart of that knowledge is preserved in a single sacred sanctuary, the Citadel. Nestled in Old Town, the oldest and most majestic city on the continent, the Citadel stood long before Aegon Targaryen ever looked across the narrow sea with conquest in his eyes. When you look upon its sprawling complex, it doesn't strike you as a military fortress, but do not be deceived. Within these quiet stone walls lies a power that can topple empires faster than a host of 100,000 men. This is where the maesters are forged. Think back to Samwell Tarly. It was here, amidst the heavy scent of old ink and decay, that he uncovered the ancient truths capable of slaying White Walkers. He found the maps to Dragonglass. He read the words the world had forgotten. The library here is an endless labyrinth. It holds the memories of the continent, the anatomy of dragons, the lost sorceries of old Valyria, maps of lands that no longer exist, and treatises on medicine, stars, and warfare.
When a man fully binds himself to this order, he is given a heavy chain to wear around his neck. Each link is forged from a different metal, representing a discipline mastered. Gold for economics, silver for medicine, iron for warfare. A heavy literal burden of truth. But wisdom breeds its own shadows. There is a dark whispered theory among historians that the Citadel played a hidden hand in the extinction of the dragons. It is said the maesters feared magic. They preferred a world ruled by logic and human law, not by monsters of fire and blood. And so, behind closed doors, they quietly, systematically bled the dragons dry. The Citadel does not fight with swords, but a single stroke of a quill in this library can rewrite the fate of the realm. From the House of Wisdom, we travel to the most dangerous address in the known world, the Red Keep. To the outside world, it is a breathtaking crown of pale red stone overlooking Blackwater Bay. But step across its threshold and the air grows heavy. It tastes of betrayal, poison, and whispered conspiracies. When Aegon the Conqueror united the 7 kingdoms, he chose a muddy hill at the mouth of the Blackwater to lay the first bricks of this massive fortress. His descendants finished what he began, cementing their reign in blood-red mortar. Deep within its heart sits the Iron Throne. It is a hideous, jagged beast of a chair, forged from the twisted, melted swords of Aegon's defeated enemies, blasted together by the terrible fires of Balerion the Black Dread. It was designed to be uncomfortable, a sharp reminder that a king should never sit easily upon his seat of power. The keep holds dark, bloody secrets. Within its walls lies Maegor's Holdfast, a fortress within a fortress. Legend says that when the cruel King Maegor finished its construction, he dragged the architects, masons, and builders into the courtyard and slaughtered them all, ensuring that the castle's secret passages and hidden tunnels would belong to him and him alone. Because of that massacre, the Red Keep is a labyrinth of hollow walls. It is how Varys, the master of whisperers, could walk like a ghost through the palace, hearing every sigh and every treacherous plot. Centuries later, in House of the Dragon, these exact red stones became the pressure cooker that ignited the Dance of the Dragons, turning brother against sister in a war of green and black. The Red Keep is not just a palace, it is the physical manifestation of human ambition, and it bleeds.
Leave the warmth of the South behind. Travel past the rivers, past the bogs, until the green fades to white, and you are confronted by the most colossal structure ever raised by human hands, the Wall. 700 feet of solid ice stretching for 300 miles from the gorge to the shivering sea. To look upon it is to feel small. It defies gravity, science, and human capability. The old songs tell us that Bran the Builder raised this titan 8,000 years ago, standing shoulder to shoulder with the mythical children of the forest. They did not just stack blocks of ice, they wove ancient runes and protective magic into its very marrow. Its purpose was singular, to act as a shield, keeping the cold horrors of the true north, the White Walkers and their army of the dead, forever locked away from the realm of men. For generations, the Night's Watch held this line. They wore the black, they swore away their titles, their lands, and their futures, dedicating their lives to a lonely vigil, the shields on the walls of men. But as the centuries ground on, the world forgot. Men in the South began to laugh at the stories of the long night, treating the White Walkers as bedtime tales to frighten children. Only Jon Snow and his brothers looked into the true dark and realized the nightmares were real. The wall was dotted with castles. Castle Black, Eastwatch by the Sea, the Shadow Tower. Once, 19 fortresses bustled with life. By the end, they were mostly empty, haunted tombs. And when the Night King finally brought his undead dragon to the wall, breathing pale, destructive blue fire upon the ancient ice, the world held its breath. The wonder that had stood for 8 millennia collapsed into a thundering avalanche of ruin in a matter of minutes. When it fell, it wasn't just ice that shattered, it was the illusion of human safety. Let us turn our eyes back to the sea, where the salt air carries the scent of unimaginable wealth. Driftmark. This island is the ancient seat of House Valyrian. Like the Targaryens, the Valyrians escaped the cataclysmic doom of Valyria. But while the Targaryens claimed the sky with their dragons, the Valyrians conquered something deeper, colder, and vast. The ocean. Their warships were the undisputed masters of the tides, and their wealth surpassed even the golden vaults of Casterly Rock. At the center of this maritime empire stood High Tide, a palace built of pale stone that seemed to rise directly out of the crashing waves. It was built by Corlys Velaryon, the legendary sea snake. He sailed his legendary ships to the edge of the known world, returning from the jade markets of the east with bellies full of gold, silks, and spices, transforming this lonely island into the trade capital of Westeros. In House of the Dragon, Driftmark became the stage for the tragic, pivotal moments that fractured the realm. It was here that Laena Velaryon was laid to rest in the dark waters, and it was on these very shores, under the cover of a tragic night, that young Aemon Targaryen snuck out and claimed Vhagar, the oldest, largest, and deadliest dragon alive. The fight that followed in the shadows of Driftmark, where a blade slashed across Aemon's eye, blinding him forever, sealed the hatred between the Greens and the Blacks. Driftmark is more than just a beautiful island of salt and stone. It is the birthplace of the blood feud that brought down the dragons. Finally,
our journey brings us to our final destination, the most ominous, haunting fortress in the civilized world, Dragonstone. This volcanic island was the westernmost outpost of the Valyrian freehold. 12 years before Valyria was swallowed by fire and ash, the Targaryen family fled here, warned by a maiden's prophetic dream. Because they chose this dark rock, their bloodline survived the end of the world. Dragonstone is unlike any other castle in Westeros. Its walls were not built by masons using stone and mortar. Valyrian sorcerers used blood magic and dragon fire to literally liquefy and shape the volcanic rock, molding the fortress into the likeness of dragons. Towers are shaped like great beasts. Gargoyles with obsidian eyes stare down from every battlement. The castle is drenched in destiny. It is where Daenerys Targaryen was born during a storm so violent it ripped the stone from the castle walls. It is where Stannis Baratheon gathered his shadow magic to wage his desperate war. And it is where Daenerys eventually returned, kneeling to press her hand into the black sand of her birthplace. In the days of the old Targaryen dynasty, the volcano behind the castle, the Dragonmont, glowed with liquid fire. Deep within its smoking caverns, dragons laid their eggs. Caraxes, Syrax, Melis, and the Bronze Fury Vermithor, they all called this smoking island home. When you look upon Dragonstone, it doesn't look like a building. It looks like a dragon that fell asleep centuries ago and turned into stone. Standing on its cliffs, watching the gray waves crash below, you can almost feel the ground vibrate, as if at any moment the stone might wake up, spread its wings, and burn the world once more.
Its 5 wonders. They are not merely buildings of stone, ice, and brick. The citadel preserved the world's mind. The Red Keep contained its brutal heart. The walls shielded its fragile soul. Driftmark conquered its wild seas, and Dragonstone kept the ancient fire alive. The world of Westeros feels real to us because its history is etched into its architecture. Long after the characters die, their wars end, and their names fade into myth, the castles remain, silent, beautiful, and eternal. Which of these 5 wonders would you dare to visit? Tell me in the comments below. If you felt the magic of this journey, leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the lore of the worlds you love. Until the next winter, farewell.